Hello and welcome to the New York Sports Show. I'm your host, Dominic Konoweski. On the line, we have High Point Rockers right-handed pitcher Tommy Lawrence. Tommy, hello and welcome to the New York Sports Show.
Hey, how you doing, Dom? Thanks for having me on.
I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well as well. And you know what? True honor to have you on, Tommy.
Oh, it's honestly an honor to be on here. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Now, you just finished up the 2021 season with the High Point Rockers, and I gotta say, this was one of your best seasons yet. But could you please take us through, before the even beginning of the season, up until 2021, you last pitched in 2018. What made you come back?
So, I was working at a baseball facility up in New Hampshire, and after my 2018 season, I thought it'd be best to get into the workforce, and I wanted to stay in the game. So I thought, what could be better than working at a baseball facility? So I was doing that for a while. With COVID, I wasn't able to see any of the kids, so I really got into the study of kinesiology and how the body moves, and then I started reading up on Driveline. Then I started reading on Cressy Sports Performance. So I started reading all this stuff, and then I started implementing it into my workouts, and my arm started feeling really good. And I pitched in the men's league in 2020, and I threw really, really well. And it felt like I never had a radar gun on me, but at the facility I was up to 92, 93. So I was like, oh, I'm pretty much back to where I was, and then I was just chilling, playing men's league, coaching 14-year-old baseball. And then this year, Jamie Keefe, who was my manager in Rockland in New York, used to bring his kid into the facility, and I was throwing a pen one day, and he was like, "Hey, you never know, I might need you one day." And they ended up having 14 or 13 guys signed in a matter of a month to some big major league teams, because the Atlantic League it's the best independent league that you can play in the United States. So a lot of guys get signed, and they get sent right to AAA, AA. So they had so many guys signed, and he was like, "Hey, I don't care if you give up 20 runs, you're gonna come in and you're gonna go." And I ended up having a no-hitter going through the 5 innings, and he was like, "Hey, we're gonna keep you on." And I ended up quitting my job up in New Hampshire, and I was like, you know what, honestly, for myself, it makes me happier too, just in life in general, just being back and being able to do pursue the dream that I have when I was a kid that I kind of let go at one point, and it's kind of nice to have back.
Yeah, definitely coming back. For love of the game, no matter what, baseball will always be in your life, and being able to step back on the mound, I can't imagine what that feeling must have been like in 2021 for you. Like I said, one of the best seasons of your professional career. 11-4 in the win-loss column. Had a very dominant month of August. Overall, pitched 117 innings. Most innings you've pitched since the 2014 season when you played for Maine, where you went 104 innings.
Yeah, that's what's it's crazy. I used to be a little stat rat when I was in college, and I would have a little notebook. I had everything written down, and I knew all my numbers and everything, and inning wise. And this summer, I was just more of just having fun with it, but also still competing, because that's what I like. I feel like that's what I thrive on is being a competitor more than anything else. I hate to lose. I love to win, but I just hate losing more than I love winning. So. Honestly, I think that's just a good mentality that I think is going to carry on in life, not just with baseball, but also with any other job that I could do. So, I mean, sports goes a long way, and now that I'm able to be back, it's crazy. And my arm is feeling it a little bit right now, but I'm working out at a high-intensity sports performance in Trumbull, and the guy that runs it there is Dave Torra. He does a great job, and he's got me on an arm care routine that I've been doing, and my arm's feeling really good. So hopefully, I get my velo up a little bit this year, and maybe get have some teams look at me.
And that'd be awesome, and definitely keeping that winning mentality. Overall, on your career, you have 41 wins. on the back of your baseball card. Well over, I would say, the 500 percentage, 100%, 41-19 in your career win-loss record. Definitely commanding out on the pitching mound. What is the feeling when you're out on the mound, exactly?
It's a good question. Honestly, it's, well, I like to, we think about it as, like, a batter he literally has a bat in his hand and I have a ball in my hand, but it still feels like I'm more intimidating to the batter than he is, and he has a bat in his hand, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. It makes perfect sense, actually, yeah.
So it's like, I'm not the tallest human being in the world. I'm like 5, I put 6 foot on my thing, sometimes 6'1" on my roster card, but I mean, I'm lucky if I'm pushing like 5'8" on days, so it's like, I guess it's a mentality of like, I feel like when I'm on the mound, I'm the best, and I feel like I'm 6'5", 6'4", like staring down at guys, even though it may not be like that. And honestly, though, like mentality-wise, that's how I'll think. But I'll never. I feel like as myself, I never act upon that.
Yeah. Now, before all of this started, before you played for High Point, before you played for Rockland, before you played for Maine, it all started really in one place for your baseball career, and that is West Haven High School in West Haven, Connecticut.
Yep.
Very successful with the baseball team there, no doubt about that. And you were actually only one of 7 players to go to West Haven High School and actually go pro in the baseball category. What is it like being part of a very elite list that really not that many people at all could call themselves a part of?
Honestly, like, I mean, that is just like a pretty cool accomplishment for myself. At the same time, it's more, I feel more of like the family of like just West Haven baseball players in general. Like, you have the Gambardella family, like that's a long list of some really good baseball players that came through this town. You have the Angleries that, like, all of them went all state, and now they have their son too. Even though he's not from West Haven, not playing for West Haven, he is a little bit of a Westie, and he's going to Stony Brook. So, I got Eric Stone, Cam Stone. There was a bunch of really good Division I, even Division II, Division III baseball players that came out of West Haven, and it's kind of like a little bit of a brotherhood, especially with the guys that I play with. Like, no doubt, I could just text one of them at any time, and it's just like, it's like old times. So, I think it's really cool to be a part of that, and too, it's like I grew up with that because my dad, he played football for West Haven. He played, didn't mean to swear, but he had, what's his name, McCarthy as his high school football coach. So it's like, I grew up bleeding blue, basically.
Yeah, a true Westie. No doubt about that, a true Westie.
Yeah.
And West Haven itself, a lot of baseball history. You got Quigley Stadium, West Haven Yankees, West Haven Whitecaps, West Haven A's, a lot of baseball history in West Haven. How would you...
What's actually crazy about that is one of my coaches when I was with the Rays, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but I was talking about where I was from. He was asking me, and I was like, I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. And he asked me, he's like, I played for the West Haven Yankees. So it's like, it was pretty cool. Obviously, no one's there now, but that would be something like, I think that would be pretty sick to bring back to the town.
Yeah, Quigley Stadium still around, but nothing major going on there. How big would you say, in the baseball aspect, how big would you say Quigley Stadium is to the city of West Haven?
I'm more of a Painter Park guy. I hated Quigley. Only I hated the pitcher's mound, to be honest with you. And I hated Quigley because I hate Notre Dame, and I probably still always will hate Notre Dame, even if I'm like 45 years old. So I never had a liking for Quigley. I'm a Painter Park guy, but more of, I got to play at Pyrrhic, so I didn't really grow up with Quigley being like, like the bee's knees of baseball fields in West Haven, because I think West Haven High's got the best field now in the state.
Yeah, West Haven does have a pretty elite field, no doubt about that. And Notre Dame actually still uses Quigley for their high school baseball team. Now, you
Yep.
mentioned that you played with the Ways, the Tampa Bay Ways, back in 2014 in the minors.
Yep.
Very solid. They're more than solid. Undefeated, 1-0, a 2.52 ERA. That's through a total of 12 games and 25 innings pitched, where you actually picked up 4 saves as well.
Yep.
What is it like being in the minor leagues compared to other professional leagues that you have played in?
Well, I'll put it for you like this way. Like this winter, past couple weeks, I was actually in Mexico playing in the Mexican Winter League, which is very high level, like AA, AAA equivalent, very good baseball. And there, the pay is like something that you can live off of. Where you're in minor league baseball, the pay I got, it was $1,100 a month, and then you had to pay for rent, and then you also had to pay for your own groceries and stuff. So I mean, it's pretty hard to stretch a dollar a long way, but you kind of learn growing up in West Haven how to do those type of things. And if I just took probably better care of my body, it's not probably more with my diet, what I put into it. Maybe I would have lasted a little bit longer with them, but you make mistakes, and now I know, and I know how to grow from it, and I've been taking care of my body. I've been putting the right nutrients into it. And you look at a photo from myself from like 2018 to right now, it's a completely different change, and just that comes with my diet. And I wish it was just something that I took a little bit more serious. Instead of eating my McDoubles. I love my McDoubles.
Well, McDonald's is pretty good, and folks who watch the New York Sports Show know how much I love McDonald's and the food reviews. So, Tommy.
I touched down like 15 McDoubles with some Big Mac sauce right now, but I got to fight the urge to do it, even if I really, 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 really want.
I know what that's like. Now, Tommy, who would you say is, or at least has been, your biggest, I would say, mentor in your baseball career? Biggest person that you look up to or that has helped you?
I would honestly say my dad, because, at a young age, I never really had pitching lessons or anything, and, my dad basically showed me how to pitch, sit in the backyard, and it got to a point where I was like, I think I was like 12 years old when he was like, I don't know if I can catch you anymore. And then he was also throwing BP to us in the morning, and it had to be like 7 a.m. And I hit an absolute piss rod and almost hit him in the wrong spot. It was a little bit to the left of his thigh, but it was almost there. And from that point forward, he started putting L screens in front of him and stuff. Like they used to bring it, but my dad, I guess back in the day, he used to sling noise. That's what everyone told me, and I think it's just like a gene that I got from him. And he works very hard too. He has unbelievable work ethic. So just like following his suit, like maybe he didn't have the work ethic in sports because he wasn't playing and he was working, but like I saw like the way he worked, and like you go hard, you go 100% all the time, and that's something that he always built into me. And he was also my football coach too, so I think that had a lot to do with it, because you want your kid obviously laying everybody out, especially if you're the coach. So he'd be up in my grill all the time, just not in a bad way, just like getting me fired up. And I think that mentality too brought into baseball, and I think that's why I pitched so well, just being so competitive. I think it's just it came from my dad. Like he just don't want to lose. That's basically what he taught me in every aspect of life.
I think that's very good and in a way very inspiring. So your dad really the main reason why you got into baseball and where you are now.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I think I was like, I don't remember. They had a video and stuff for me, but I was like 2-3 years old. I would just sit back back in the chair and just watch baseball all day long. So I guess it's something that I love my whole life. So
that's that's awesome.
Yeah.
And now, Tommy, you were at the point of your career. I would say that you're pretty well known. Now, do you Google yourself?
I'll be honest with you. I do like to taste myself sometimes, so I do. I'll go on Google and I will put in my name and I'll Google myself sometimes.
Yeah, being on Baseball Reference, along with a few other major, well-known stat websites. That has to be awesome. I can't imagine that.
Yep. That's like a big thing too. Is like knowing if a guy's telling the truth about his career. If he has a Baseball Reference, so it's good to be able to have one of those. And actually, I really did have a real career.
And well, you know what, your career is very real. Now, how would you say, coming back into baseball, how would you say that your goals are at this point? Is it just taking it, one off season at a time, one game at a time, or have you set goals for yourself particularly?
Yeah, I mean, for the ultimate goal is obviously to make it to the big leagues. And is it always attainable? Is it an attainable goal? I mean, I would like to think so because that's why I'm doing it. But there's like a less than 1% chance that anyone gets to make it. And I proved that I could win at just about every level I pitched at. And maybe if I, now that I'm eating healthier and I know what to do for my workouts, and that I'm doing the right things now. Like, maybe who knows? Like, maybe my velocity jumps, and someone takes a chance on me. Like, that's all that it takes. I mean, if you look at it in the big leagues, you got Marcus Stroman. He's a little guy that throws gas, but I'm just gonna honestly go where what baseball takes me. Like, getting a chance to go play in Mexico. Like, I would never even thought about that, and that's like something too, like where like you could make a career if you go down there and you perform. You could make a serious career and make really good money just playing baseball down there. And if that doesn't work out, then I could always just travel the world. Like I could go out and play in Italy. I get to play in Australia. Like, why not? I'm single. Why not take the time and get to do what I love while also getting to travel the world at the same time? So there's different avenues I could take with it, but right now, like, I'm focused on being in America and being ready for next year. Hopefully going back. Well, I know I'm going back to High Point next year with the Rockers and Jamie Keefe. So
now, definitely playing a big part with the High Point Rockers, one of the best pitchers on their rotation. How would you describe it as playing with the High Point Rockers?
Honestly, it was pretty awesome. It was eye-opening. Like, my roommate, who I went to the field and brought to the field every single day, was Mike Martinez. He was it's just pretty crazy. He made he made the last out in the World Series. He grounded out to Chris Bryant. I'm driving, and he's going with me every day to the field. Got to hang out a lot with this one guy, Steven Cardullo, who I would go. Now, this is one kid. If I could tell anyone to follow and how to make it to and become a big leaguer, like, this is the guy that I think like kind of locked it. He works. He was the hardest working dude I've ever met in my life. He would get to the field at like 9 in the morning. No, 10 o'clock in the morning, and mind you, it's like a 7 o'clock game. And he get there at 10 in the morning. He's going through his mobility routine, his shoulder routine. He's getting a workout in. Then he's going up and he's hitting, and then he's out onto the field. He's taking ground balls. By the next thing you know, like, we're out there and we're there for BP. He's been there forever. Everyone else is kind of just rolling in. Like, this guy, like, he's kind of the epitome of like working hard. If you want it, like, go work and go get it. Like, this dude goes hard, and like he kind of just showed me, like, what it takes. Like, I started going to the field early with him. I would get there early, and it was good to see, like, obviously, like, this guy did what my dream was, and he knows what he has to do to get there. So why would I not follow what he said? What he does. It was awesome. Like, even too, like, just getting to face some big leaguers. I got to face Brandon Phillips this year, even though I didn't get to get him out. He hit a double off the wall with me, but He tried going for a triple, tripped up at second, so he got thrown out at second, so he was out. But I mean, that Lexington Legends team was loaded. They like Ben Revere was on the team. I mean, it was that league in general. It's really good baseball. Like if you want to go watch baseball and keep it cheap, it's like it's the same league where the Bridgeport Bluefish were. Like it's really very good, polished baseball, and played at like some serious, really nice stadiums too. So I mean, those guys were already in the big league, so it's really good baseball.
It sounds like it's really good baseball. Now, Tommy, before we go, is there anyone that you would like to thank or give a shout out to?
Shout out my boy Todd Hopkins, who was my catcher at West Haven High, who is now in the Special Forces in the Army. That's a dude right there. I mean, that's like a role model that I think like a lot of West Haven kids could look up to, because I mean, the dude, I think he hit like 430 his senior year as a catcher, who was a transfer from Notre Dame, and this dude turned it around, and now the dude is yoked out of his mind, and he's a beautiful kid now, and so I would like to shout him out. I'll shout out Todd Hopkins.
And is there anything that you like to say to anyone who is trying to make a baseball career of their own and just following baseball as a whole?
Yeah, honestly, now with everything going on the internet, like it's one touch away. There's no excuse anymore to be like, I really didn't know what to do, because all you have to do is grab your phone, and you can YouTube videos, you can YouTube anything basically. And there's like the app I use for my arm care that the trainer uses is anyone can download it, and you can get all the sensors sent to you. Like it's one of the best things I've ever used, and my arm, I can already tell, feels 1,000 times better, it's moving better already. So if any kid and also people might tell you it's a far-fetched dream, and just know like if you want to do it, it could be done. Also, you have to believe it, no matter at what point you are in like your career, like your first day in college, like you got to believe that you belong there. Your first day in pro ball, you have to believe that you belong there, because the second that you don't believe that you belong there, you're going to be gone. You're going to be in the dust. It's mentality and it's confidence more than anything in this world.
Believing in yourself is the biggest thing. Well, thank you, Tommy, for joining us here on the New York Sports Show, folks. Once again, that was Tommy Lawrence, High Point Walker's right-handed pitcher. Tommy, thank you.